hacking interactive class, so we're all going to definitely participate. I'll announce the topic in a minute, but we will be getting into a bunch of popular websites today using a technique that has not been announced. We're going to go through how to handle this ethically and report these things. We'll also have a discussion about things we should do, things we shouldn't do, relevant laws, things like that. Here is the ethics statement. The stuff we're going to be showing today, if somebody was watching this and had bad intentions, they could do some very bad things. So we're asking everybody to please commit that you are going to use this information for learning and not pivot this into hacking into websites for scamming people or stuff like that. So can I get a I agree to the ethics statement from everybody here in the chat? Okay, there's one. Can we please nominate a bouncer? Can somebody please check the viewers? If anybody else joins, we can make sure we'll have to stop whatever we're doing and jump back to that. Could somebody please volunteer to do that? Cool, thank you. Here's the full table of contents. So we will announce in just a second what it is that we're hacking. We will discuss how domain names work, how domain names and websites connect. We're going to find a vulnerability. We're going to do a big scan to find everybody that's vulnerable. We're going to use some different approaches. We're going to discuss what bad things could people do with this information. Then we will find a way to prove that these things are a problem without doing bad stuff. We're going to try one of them. We're actually going to do it. We're going to do the thing, and then that will be the proof of concept. So we will be sure that this thing works. Then I think there's about 30 of them. This will change. This is live, so I don't know what's going to happen. I think there's about 30 websites that have this problem. We will try to reach out to all of them. So everybody on this call can work together and we can find contact information. That'll be fun. We're going to try all of them. So we're going to hack all websites. Then we will write this up into a blog, explain what we've done, how we're helping people, and what we recommend that these people do to prevent others that know the same information from having a problem. We will publish the blog. I will send out all the emails to everybody who's impacted, and then we can discuss next steps. Here's the reveal. Here's what we're going to hack today. GitHub Pages. GitHub Pages. GitHub is a very popular website for hosting source code. GitHub has a whole bunch of projects for anything that you would want to build. You can collaborate, you can share, you can work with other people. Also, this allows you to host websites. Here's my website. This is 4.net. You can load this website, and this website is built based on the source code in this repository. The way that works is if you buy this domain name, you buy a domain, I got 4.net a long time ago, and then you connect it by setting your DNS so that when somebody loads 4.net, it loads a specific IP address, and then that loads into GitHub, and GitHub serves this web page to you. So that's what you see when you load this page. GitHub is serving you this page. That's how this works. So one day, I'm reading the documentation, setting up a new website for some client or something. I've read this page about how to set up GitHub. Here's actually how many exploits start. You start reading something, and you find something that looks a little weird or a warning or something. You think about, well, what happens if somebody doesn't do that? And that results in buffer overflow, buffer underflow, XYZ, anything. It could be all kinds of weird stuff can happen. And you have to be creative to think what could go wrong here. This one was pretty easy. So this one tells you what's going to go wrong. We just go straight from there. So if you're using GitHub, you have a website set up, you have a repository set up, you have some code like some HTML or whatever, and so you want to publish it onto your domain name. By default, GitHub will already publish your website at a special URL like this. That one just redirected real fast, but if you saw the GitHub URL was like this, it will publish it at that URL. And if you have a website on MySpace or Blogger or whatever, back in the day, that's the same way. It always works like this. You get like a subdomain. When you set up the DNS, then it will also publish on this website. Let's see how you would set that up. So you have a custom domain name, custom domain. So that's what it's called when you have your domain name running through GitHub Pages. So you read this page, and then somewhere down there, you get this big red warning that says, warning, we strongly recommend not using wildcard DNS records, such as star.example.com. This means any of your domains. A wildcard DNS record will allow anyone to host a GitHub Pages site at one of your subdomains. So what does that mean? When you take my website, 4.net, and you run host on it, it will return those 4 IP addresses. So now there's this big warning. It says, warning, we recommend you do not use DNS wildcards. Something star.example.com is a way you would set up DNS so that anything.example.com would be resolved. So let's check if I have this problem. So something.4.net, and that is an NX domain. NX domain means the domain name was not found and there's no IP address returned. This is set up properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to look through the entire internet to find any domain name that's using GitHub Pages. Then we're going to find all of those domain names, and we're going to check something dot that domain name. And we're going to see if it's vulnerable. Let's see if this one's vulnerable. Okay. So this one is run on GitHub Pages. You can see by these IP addresses. I need some fancy words. 2 random words. This is improv. Night cat night-cat.chew.tv. All right, night-cat.chew.tv also has these IP addresses. So according to this red box here, will allow anyone to host a GitHub Pages site at one of your domain names. So theoretically, right now, you can host a website at night-cat.chew.tv. This is a problem because they are not expecting that. So more people join the room. So we have to cover the screen, check your chat. We need an I agree from anybody who just joined the room in the chat. There's one, waiting one more. Hey, Christy, do you see their names? Can you call them out? Thank you, thank you. All right. So we have just shown one vulnerable website. How do we go expand this a little bit? We could just reach out to these one people and we would help one person today, but we want to help more people. So we want to see if we can find all these. In the meantime, we can go demonstrate what the problem is with this one. Let's go ahead. The first question is, does anybody have ideas of how we can find a big list of websites on the internet? So I have one in mind, but if we have other ones, we can try those too. The Alexa list, love it. Top sites. So Alexa has a top 500 websites on the web list. You can get 50 of them at a time on their website. They used to just let you download it, and Amazon bought them, and now they don't let you do that anymore, or you have to buy something or whatever. Moz, top 500, you can download it as a CSV. This is cool. So you're saying we could just look on Google at everything that shows up first or any words and just start search for stuff. They're going to show up first. This is a good solution. This will help you find the best websites. Maybe there's a Wikipedia. There's 50 sites there. If you haven't been in this class before, anybody, if you like, and you're contributing here, I don't see why we can't invite you to add your name to our blog post when we disclose this. That's how we do here. Okay, so I'm looking for lots and lots of websites. I have one in mind, so I did some research on this too, and I found one list that's pretty nice. It's called the Majestic Million. Majestic is another company with tools to make your website. They have a list, so it's called Majestic Million. It takes a minute to download. In fact, this is going to be too big for the browser. So let's get this with, use WCAT. We've downloaded the list of the 1 million most popular websites. So let's check that out. We will use some command line tools here. Google, Facebook, YouTube. Okay, so this is a legit list. So this is going to start with the most popular websites. Now what we need to do here is we need to get the domain names out of this list. Let's open this with a CSV editor. Let's see if that's going to work or blow up. We're going to just get the domain. So now we got 1 million domain names, domains. We want to go through this whole list and we want to look up the IP address for the domain. But actually, we don't want to look up the IP address for the domain name. We want to look up the IP address for something.thatdomain.com. And so this will tell us if they have a wildcard, it will resolve anything.theirdomain.com. Back to the audience, can we please get some more random words? API, that's a great idea. The issue with API is a problem. There might already be something called api.google.com. Already has an address. We're not actually checking for wildcard. If we try octagon.google.com, it's not found. We're looking for something that nobody would ever name their website. Nobody would ever name it this. We got to find something that will just be unused. Poople. Now we're getting good. Another way to make this even better is to just combine two of these things. Foobar, I've seen before. Foobar-ploople-poopersnoot.example.com. I can guarantee you nobody's ever named their website that before. Next, what we want to do is we want to use the command line to look up the IP address for one of these records. Let's do this one. One way to do it is host. This one's not found. There's a different command we can use called dig. So dig is a command line that allows you to look up information about DNS, and you can query different servers, different options. So we could actually use a different server, Google's server, which is 8.8.8.8. At least dig works quickly, and it gives us some answers. And for this one, for the example.com, it gave us an A record, authority record. Basically means that your domain name resolves to one IP address or so many IP addresses. So this one is something that doesn't exist, and it gave us a not existing. We can trim this down a little bit. So there's some options here, plus no all, which doesn't show anything, and then plus answer. So this will only give you the answer. In this case, there is no answer. Now we've got a command line that can get nothing if there's no domain and get something. Okay, now let's try the one website that we know that is broken, but now we're going to try this domain name and we still get a response. So this is a problem. If we run this into here, it will give us this response, and we see the problem right there. So we're thinking, how do we get through this whole list? Just check every one of them, all 1 million domain names. So let's see how long it's going to take and then try it. We can use the head command for that. We have a domains file, slice off. Let's do 10,000. That's 1% of the file. Does anybody know a command we could use for trying a big list of things versus one command line on Unix or Linux? One of them that we could use is called xargs. So we can construct an argument list from an input file. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we're going to take this list, 10,000 domains, we're going to into xargs, and we want it to run the dig command. Okay, so bam. So it just ran through 10 different domains and gave us that, and we could run through a lot more. But this didn't give us the wildcard. So what we're going to need to do here in between this, so let's set this aside. Okay, and so now we want to take these 10 domain names and we want to prepend them with foobar, ploople, boopersnot. Does anybody know any commands where we could prepend this? Awk, all right. You want to give us the awk command? I'm change my water and get adult beverage. When you're live streaming, you're never drinking alone. Today we have Manitaki from Pennsylvania, Scorpiones,